With most sports played behind closed doors in 2020, it was once again digital gaming that shone through in the early days of the pandemic. Whether it was the virtual F1 Championship where actual Formula 1 drivers took part from their homes, to the FIFA tournaments with Premier League players pitting their skills against eSport regulars. In terms of the Switch, it's been a pretty meagre year for sports games really, with mainly incremental updates released, although we did finally get a couple of long overdue genres released this year. Here's my top 10 list of sports games released in 2020 on the Switch. One notable absentee is NBA 2K21, which I just never got around to playing this year, although there is a demo up in the store. I believe it is good, if not better than last year's entry, which actually claimed my number 1 spot on my 2019 list, so please bear that in mind. Now starting with America's pastime at number 10, and it's the yearly update to RBI Baseball with RBI Baseball 20 from the team at MLB Digital. You have to give this series credit for its determination to improve as each year gets a little better, and the 2020 version saw the biggest leap yet with new pitching and batting control schemes and a choice of camera angles. It's still a game that doesn't quite sit comfortably in either full-on arcade or simulation modes and is a bit mediocre for it. We should see the incredible MLB The Show on the Switch next year, so we'll see if that encourages RBI to take a real leap forward in terms of gameplay and presentation. Number 9 finds AO Tennis 2, the follow-up to the Australian Open game. The selling point of this series is the excellent and deep career mode, which sees you travelling around the world playing tournaments, training, resting and buying new gear. It's one of the better career modes in a sports game, and paired with the Australian Open licence, there is a lot to like here. The gameplay takes a while to get used to, with a slightly clunky shot system, an automatic movement system that some may not like, and also the frame rate can definitely get in the way of an enjoyable time, and this is one to pick up if you see it in a low price sale. A huge drop from last year's list down to number 8 this time around, and it gets to a point where you can't defend a game anymore, and that's where I am unfortunately with FIFA 21. EA Sports are asking full price for what again amounts to quite literally a data update on the previous version on the Switch. The Nintendo version features very few of the other console's main features, so there's no Volta mode here, and the career mode is a stripped back legacy version with none of the fancy cutscenes seen elsewhere. It's a shame really, because at its core it's still a really brilliant football game and at times can look incredible considering the hardware it's running on, but asking £45 each year without any effort to improve the gameplay is beyond a joke now. Number 7 is another football game that actually does innovate and offer something different, and that's Captain Tsubasa Rise of the New Champions. This is a visual novel RPG at heart based around the world of high school soccer in Japan, and features 2 lengthy story modes, various arcade modes and even online play. You cannot fault its content, and if you want something slightly different in your sports game, then there is a lot to like here, but I found the gameplay once on the pitch a little bit clunky, and the story mode matches are frequently interrupted with jarring cutscenes. You also need to win every game in the story mode to progress through it, which can become a real slog, but as I say, it's certainly something a bit different. It's a stretch to call number 6 a sport, more sports entertainment, but it's WWE Battlegrounds from 2K, which arrived this year alongside other console and PC versions, and it's actually a very respectable port if you keep the numbers in the ring down to a minimum. The game features a large roster of past and present wrestlers, although in true 2K fashion you'll have to earn or buy coins with real money to unlock them, which was a huge gripe for many people at the time. I had a great time with the game myself though, and its over the top arcade style of gameplay and technical issues aside, I found enough content and the career mode enjoyable enough for the price of entry. Extreme Sports Time at number 5, and it's the downhill biking game Descenders from No More Robots. Hit the muddy slopes and rocky hillsides in procedurally generated stages, either on your own or with a party of online players, and work your way to the area's boss jump, earning money and kudos as you go to allow you to pimp your bike. Cheekily described by the publishers as a rogue bike, you'll be earning new passive abilities between runs to help you, and despite a slightly toned down graphical look from the other versions of the games, there's still a fun time to be had here. In at number 4 is another franchise game with a yearly update, and that is Football Manager Touch 21 from Sega. Another game that, whilst not quite as bad as FIFA for just being a data update, it is very much the same feeling gameplay wise of the last few editions. To their credit, developers Sports Interactive do try to add in the new odd feature and constantly fiddling under the hood to make the gameplay smoother, so there is that. The 21 edition does feature a fairly decent update to the matchday experience, with a new UI and some new managerial options you can tinker with, and I'm sure die-hard fans like myself are eager to grab each edition anyways to continue playing with the current data. It is a great game though, and I'm very thankful it's on the Switch each year and thoroughly recommend this one. Swinging in at number 3 is a genre the Switch has been crying out for, and that's a proper golf sim. So it was brilliant news when 2K announced they were bringing PGA 2K21 to the Switch alongside the console and PC versions of the game. Despite a few niggles, the biggest of which being the oddly silent golf courses where the other versions of the game have full-on crowds and cheering and so on. Most of us at the time wrote it off as the Switch version being a definitive pandemic realistic version with our tongues firmly in cheeks. But elsewhere, the game features a robust multi-year career mode as you fight your way up the PGA ranks, and the gameplay is especially excellent, albeit slightly hard to play on handheld mode with the small Joy-Cons. A nice big TV and a Pro Controller is the best way to enjoy this one for sure. Another title now that's been crowned best in class for its genre on the Switch, and that is Pure Pool from Ripstone. Many have tried and many have failed, but we finally have the best pool simulation on the Switch, and it's taken a port of a 6-year-old game to do it. Whilst not totally perfect, the game's pretty basic career mode, consisting of tiers of challenges and short matches versus increasingly difficult AI, a real-time online system that is quite at the best of times and some very clunky and dull menus, but once you get your chin to the table, the game is a joy to play. With a simple control scheme that still offers all the range of shots you'd want to take, some absolutely stunning graphics and a lovely jazz soundtrack to match, any sports fan would be well advised to grab a copy of this game immediately. So on to the top spot now, and it's going to be Metalhead Software's Super Mega Baseball 3. Last year's entry was my 5th pick for 2019's best sports games, but the improvements made across the board to an already excellent game has seen the 3rd iteration rise to the top of the pile. The most obvious change is a slightly different art style, and whilst still on the cartoony side, it's not quite so outrageous and a little bit more realistic. New stadiums have better lighting and time of day effects, and the tweaks to the gameplay are right on the money. The gameplay belies the cartoony look with some excellent physics at play under the hood and allows for some great action to play out, whether you bobble a miss-hit into the infield or you're smacking homers over the fences. The real jewel in the crown here is the excellent online system available, which now features a full franchise mode available in online co-op and also features cross-play as well. It's a superb package and well deserving of this year's top spot. So there it is, my top 10. Please let me know what your favourite sports game of the year was. As I said at the top of the video, maybe this year was weaker in terms of quality games and a year that leaned heavily on annual refreshes, but there's still some cracking games there for sports fans. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and until next time, I'll see you all again soon. Cheers everyone, bye bye.